Starting up soon. Okie dokie. Send this message to him so he knows. Okay. All right.
Hello, hello.
Yo. All right. So, who would like to be the conductor of the train of recalling what happened last session?
Not I, said the Zed.
And when people start recounting it, I'm yeah.
Anyone?
I did it last time. Pass it off.
Is this a situation of us having to roll the dice on this?
I mean, you don't have to. You could just start.
Do
Nobody gets
it.
inspiration.
Rollies. Do it.
Just to make sure they can
I
actually
remember
see.
what. So we got out of the cave,
Yes.
and it was super duper. It was super nice out there. There was some grass and some trees, and party kept walking, Then there was a strange. Oh, I'm okay. I'm remembering now. There was a strange presence that was perceived by some people, almost like of the forest, something just out of the touch zone or whatever you call it, arm's reach. And but we kept walking, and we came to a stream, but we met some goblins, right? The goblins weren't really that threatening. There were also some orcs, right? I don't know. That's half an inspiration point, right? That's about that's where I'll pass off to somebody else.
We had also encountered a cat that had shapeshifted into a much larger cat that had like tentacles coming out of it. And
Beast,
yes, and we had fought it, but Niavara had found out that that actually familiar of somebody and told us what was going on and decided to anger.
it was some sort of test for Kozik, especially something about, and then but other people performed much better than the sort of woebegone dwarf noble, not very lucky that day. And then and I think we decided to go, yeah, right. Yeah. Then we decided to go to the town, or try to go to a town.
Specifically the human town nearby, I
Yeah.
believe. After it's probably not quite as important, but I distinctly remember Cha and Drari getting into the fucking piss river
They were in the pee-pee. Yeah. All
and
that talk
having a
about the
ball of a
pee-pee.
time.
It was so fun.
Um, a whole
I'll
length and a half of a time, if you will. Ha 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 ha. Um, and Cha had the unsettling revelation of the fact that some people might have certain ideas about creatures from the Underdark, and those seen as non-human
Sure.
or menacing.
All his studies, he somehow missed the idea that people would be terrified of creatures from the nine hells of Bator.
Literally from hell. A hell. Maybe not the hell.
I mean, listen, it's where he lived. Why is there anything to be scared of? It's not like there's fires that he can summon now. Probably.
apparently he can summon the same whispers that we heard. He
Yes.
he did demonstrate as well as demonstrating that he can shift to a human form, which was kind of surprising, but maybe not so much after we also witnessed Niavara apparently just put on makeup, but now looks just like a high elf.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't have too much of a problem with
The whole purpose, like, all she's doing is she would be turning her skin from purple to pink. Is that so hard to believe?
Not at all.
With everything that we've seen, no.
Are we down at Draadi tonight?
I think that's what
Yes.
she said.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
he's not coming.
We'll have to go to the moons without him, I'm afraid.
Sure. Take our turn. Act like. You walk the fires, path of fire. Look for two moon. Can't do it justice.
That's pretty good.
He's got a that's a pretty good impression. Not quite as raspy. A little bit deeper voice too than his. Like his is like almost like a little bit higher on the register.
Mm. For the record, Cha is still enthralled with the material plane despite having swam around in piss.
He seemed to enjoy that part. If I gotta,
Be honest.
that didn't seem to bother him.
Didn't
Yeah.
seem that bad. Everybody thought it was so bad, but it seemed that messed up.
Our
Now he's
noblemen,
just looking forward to an actual pure body of water.
no such thing.
Everybody, 100%. Alrighty, so with that, since Kozik led the recap train, Kozik gets an inspiration.
Ding! Oh, little light bulb goes off over Kozik's head.
Kozik, who was that lady? And what did you do?
Well, I don't remember doing anything, but must be related to some sort of. Well, I had kind of a personal experience with some sort of spirit when I was deep under the earth, when we were deep underground, and I don't know. I hope to meet her again, though. I have so many questions for her.
Did you strike a deal with her?
I'm not sure.
Did she
I guess
ask
it would
for
help if I
something
could.
from you?
I can't quite remember with real memories, but I have some sort of feeling that we're connected in some way.
I have that feeling too, and it doesn't feel good.
Hmm.
There's something really freaky about that lady. She seemed very interested in you.
Yes, I feel a bit chastened, I have to admit, but yes, a very interesting creature to be sure.
I think I have a cream for that.
Yeah, I love topical remedies, I guess.
And Dungeon Master, did we like what did this creature look like? The woman creature. What did she look like again?
People that
It's-
can see her.
As far
Yes.
as anybody could tell, it was essentially a shadowed silhouette.
A shadowed silhouette.
Feminine in form and shape, and in tone, I suppose. But any details beyond an outline are a mystery.
And her creature was a cat that turned into a much larger, disturbing cat with tentacles on its back.
Like a displacer.
Right. That was what I imagined. I do feel a little bad about banging up that creature. I mean, it seemed like all it wanted to do was like play with you. But Kozik, you have a strange habit of being picked up by large denizens of gods and thrown and held up in the air. And I don't know how to feel about it. I want to attack the things doing it, but it seems like they kind of like you.
Some sort of I have a magnetic something or other, I guess.
Yes,
I
and
got
you also
dwarven
recall,
magnetism.
yeah, and you also recall Zed and Ari didn't seem to be able to interact with that said creature. They seemed very lost and confused as to what was going on.
And what was that about? You guys couldn't even see it. Didn't and then when you attacked it, you didn't hit anything. You just went right through. Where I
I
know I was landing blows. I know it. Could feel it.
Joe, I was swinging at air. I not even sure what to tell you.
Uncanny. 'Cause, I mean, it seemed like all it wanted to do was like play with you. But seems like all it wanted to do was like play with you. Uncanny.
I But you're all sure
Ooh.
that you're not imagining things, that this isn't just some sort of, you know, breathing some sort of different air that you're not used to or something like that?
I was floating in the air, my friend.
Right.
How do you explain that?
I
I
have
might have
been
been breathing in the air. What?
I mean, we've all been breathing the same air here.
yeah, and I've been up to the surface before. New air doesn't do that to people. If it did, you would hear a lot more stories about it.
There was a tentacle. I
It
swear,
was
I
don't
know
know
what I
what to make of
saw.
that. I don't know what to make of that.
second off,
We
the
saw it.
orcs
We saw it. We
warned.
felt it. Right. The orcs told us about a witch. Was that it? Do you think? But
Almost
Kozik, you said you
certainly.
know this one. You met this creature in the Underdark?
No, this
Uh-huh.
creature is new to us.
Kozik, you had something to do with this woman, right? You said in the Underdark?
It's possible. These sort of magic abilities that I have are relatively new in my life, so and I can't quite remember how I got them, but I remember it was deep underground and there was voice and it was not unlike this strange lady creature that we encountered. I don't quite remember.
Inside check. I mean,
It's certainly free
whatever we
to.
know. Right, here we go. First roll of night. Do this. Inside check.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're pretty sure he's telling the truth.
okay. You don't remember. I mean, but now you have magic powers. And
I do
that
have
doesn't
some
sound
sort
very
of
good.
I do have some sort of abilities. I mean, you guys have all been witness to that.
Yes.
They are fantastic. I will give you that. But I don't know. I don't know this witch of the woods or whatever it was that we saw. She seemed quite critical of me though, don't you think? Did you
Oh
hear
yes.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Kind of a fail, son.
So that does hurt for some reason. It hurts a little more than normal, but I don't know. I don't know this lady.
Well, I know what it looks like when somebody's holding a deal over. So that looks like a tricky situation. We need to look out for you. She
Deal.
might want to collect something. You suddenly have magical powers. You're dealing with this powerful creature who can summon a visible, invisible creature, battling with us like it's a joke.
But she did not seem malevolent, did she?
Kind of.
Well,
I
maybe a
mean,
little, but
The cat didn't. The cat was innocent. It was just having a bit of fun.
this
right.
is just the power of, I'm sensing it's just the power of nature or something. Like, can we say good or bad, or all we must do is pay proper respect to it?
Did did Kozik, did you share with us the thing about the TikTok? The sort of clock is ticking thing. Did you share that
Oh, I
with us?
forgot
Or-
about that.
If you didn't share it,
There is
then
maybe
like,
I'm sure I did, but I don't know. I thought that was about just the encounter that we were in.
that seemed more ominous than just the encounter we were in. Like
Hmm.
maybe there's a time limit. She wants something from you by a certain time. I mean, that was the impression I got.
The orcs warned us to be out of the woods before sundown.
Might be right.
Ah,
Now you're giving me the heebie-jeebies. Maybe we should get onto that village and see if we can find it.
don't know what heebie-jeebies, but I've got them too, I guess. Let's go.
You know the feeling when
go.
like the hair on the back of your neck sort of like turns up?
Oh yeah, there's a certain spot that people can touch that makes that happen. So it's kind of like a sexy thing.
No.
Heebie-jeebies.
What about like when you're scared of something or a little bit spooked and you feel like something on your back? Like eyes on your back. Like you feel like someone's watching you. That's the heebie-jeebies.
You grow eyes on your back?
No. When
Cool.
you feel eyes on your back. Like
Close.
someone's watching you.
Oh. Okay, got it. Not literally. Back. Ugh. Okay, I think I get it. Heebie-jeebies. Yeah. Picturing a bunch of eyeballs on my back gives me. Yes.
I'll note it.
All right then. South to what did they call it? Grenstall? Grenwald? Griswold?
Grinstall.
Humans.
Oh,
Human.
Grimstone.
Greystone? Grimstone. Broomstone.
Let's see if this feature works. Hey, it does work. Neat. Okay. It'll save me some time. Anyway, so yeah, what would you guys like to do? You're very aware that the time of day is, it's about to be, it's getting dark. And you know that there's a town somewhere along this road, but how far you're not necessarily sure.
All right, let's get to it.
As far as I'm aware, I'm content to walk until about an hour till sundown, and then wherever we do wind up, we're going to make a camp so that we can actually, build it in the light for the darknessly challenged among us.
Everybody looks at Zed.
You think I can? Okay, yeah, I can build a fire. Of course.
No comment.
Meanwhile, Ari had probably spouted something about needing to have time to reconnect with the moons and the sky, and you saw him kind of gathering up a bunch of materials and supplies, looking for particular plants and herbs, gathering it all up in some pouches, gathering stones, casting the bones. It seems like he's going to be doing some kind of a ritual, but it will take some time for him to complete it.
Are we doing that now, or should we camp here? What should we do? Sun's going down.
I mean, in theory. So, like, out of character, Drari is going to stay here no matter what? Or is he, like, going to rejoin us next session? Do we need to stay with him during this period, or will he just appear back with us?
Oh, it seems like he's going back into the cave in that safety hovel.
So he'll find us.
All right, Drari, we'll get you some snacks.
Yes.
What would you like?
Nothing. We'll reconvene mini moons.
Okay, I'll get you a scone.
Some fruit roll-ups.
Oh, that
Good.
sounds
Good berry roll-ups.
They get stuck in his lizard maw.
very roll.
Oopsie. So, what would the party like to do? You're pretty sure you have maybe an hour or two left of, sunlight. You're not exactly sure how far Grinstall is from where you are, or at what pace you would have to travel to get there.
That
you're
was a
s-
Grinstall's a rotten egg.
Take off. Well, I think we should definitely just set out at not an exhausting pace, but we should get going.
Oh, here's that before it just full bolts out of there, and it's like, oh, okay.
We'll catch up.
To hang with you guys. All right. We'll go.
All right. So, daytime turns to night. The sun gives way for the moon. Darkness has fallen. And let me make sure my OBS is good. And you've traveled for a couple of hours, probably at this point, maybe an hour or two after the sun has fallen. And it's at that point you begin to hear off in the distance the sounds of, well, what some of you might know to be the sounds of, a village or a town nearby. But it's kind of off in the distance. Maybe the clang of an anvil or the barking of a dog. Sounds of, civility.
Right, domesticity. Do you guys hear that? I think it sounds close. I mean, it's getting dark, but I think we should just let's march on.
And I'm presuming somebody has torches for those who don't have the best of night vision.
The classic Niavara lantern.
Yep.
Very well. So, essentially powering through an extra, I'd say an hour of winding road, right? It's not a straight shot, but an extra hour of winding and bending road definitely seems a lot more padded down and traveled than the other portions of the road you've been on. But lo and behold, you find yourself at the outskirts of a decent-sized town. Looks like there's a lot of construction going on. There looks like people have definitely winded down for the evening, but there's still people here and there that are roaming the streets, or your typical alcoholic kind of stumbling from door to door to door in the middle of the street. Maybe some chickens running around. It's still typical nighttime stuff for those of you who are accustomed to, city livings.
Ooh,
I'll
aye,
go
this
to
is
set up.
quite a town.
Just sort of bring down behind everybody as talking to.
So,
Niavara is currently posed directly at Veldrin's side, walking basically arm in arm. Presumably somewhere toward the front, considering that she's the one with the light.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think Zed's just now comfortably kind of walking ahead of
Closer.
everyone and just ready to get back into some sort of civilization that he's familiar with, uh, primarily to find a drink, even though it's late.
It's usually the best time to get a drink.
Dead ass.
Zed, what do you think? Is this a big town? Is it a small town? What do you think?
Well, it seems kind of quite. As far as towns I've seen, this would be a town versus you know, more of a
City.
enthralling
Big place.
city sort of aye. So, but it does seem like there's still, some hustle and bustle going on even at this time. So maybe we can find someone. And I tell you what, Chaw, you were drinking piss water. I've got you one better. If we find an inn and they've got some ale or some mead or even something stronger, I promise you've got to try it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, we had lots of fantasy vintages in growing up in my family, but don't know if I've had ale or mead. We did not have. No. Cool.
I believe you'll enjoy it. I'm actually looking forward to it.
It'll actually taste what you think piss water should taste like.
Oh, okay. I'll have something to compare it. Real piss water with. Great.
Abby, there is so much room for you on this bed. There is no need for you to bark. I'm sorry.
Look,
There's a
the
hellhound
water
in the
has a
house.
familiar.
Everyone be careful.
Where have you been hiding that little creature?
I'm here, Abby. Abby. Come on. Abby.
What a cute nickname she has for Beldrin. Aw.
Yeah, Beldred's nickname is Abigail. Yeah, I know.
Bitten sounds a lot different than you thought.
I'm so sorry. Here, Abby.
Delightful.
Get
It's
on the
delightful.
bed. Abby. Come on.
The Borkers.
Up here, young lady.
Well, there goes
Being
Niavara.
told it's yours.
I think she's still experiencing that hallucinogenic air that you were talking about earlier, Zed.
Must have been.
I mean, what are you talking about? There is a dog barking in town. And there is indeed a small animal that that's kind of been distracting her. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Tavern? What does it look like? What do they like
Uh,
here?
Well, typically, from the ones that I've seen, they've got drunk fellas in front of them, and that's how you know. That's the key sign, because often the walls and the shape of the building is going to be different, but um, when you can smell the alcohol from the alley around the corner, you're probably next to the tavern. Hopefully you're on the right side. Otherwise, you might be smelling the same sort of piss that you were drinking earlier. But let's see if we can find someone, and maybe they could direct us to the important parts of town. I'd say.
Okie
Humans also like to have a sign with a fish or a bird or a dog on it hanging somewhere outside this establishment.
Oh,
Yeah, it's always some sort of animal.
Correct. And as you guys have kind of gotten closer and closer to the town, you notice that you're coming in on the along the northern road there. There's the houses seem well, I wouldn't say run down or anything, but they're definitely commoners' houses, right? They're made of wood, but the wood is kind of like looks old, and maybe some of them are a little more termite ridden than others. Uh, they're hovels for living in, but nothing really special. If you would consider something to be quote unquote low income, you know, the lower end of the economic barrel, it would probably be the outskirts of this area. However, you would also notice that there's a lot more animals out here too. So, you know, you see a couple of sheep roaming around, definitely a few dogs, a couple cats. Like, you know, there's a lot more liveliness on this area at this time of night. Maybe a couple of chicken or two just kind of walking in the middle of the streets. Can we hydrate?
Just smiling and watching it with joy, watching all the creatures and the activity.
Sure, please do not try and pick up any of those chickens and taste them.
Oh no! Of course not. Yes.
Right,
Yes,
they're
that
not
is-
done yet.
Right. Yeah, I don't have a big habit of eating living creatures unless they're like a big centipede. Mmm, crunchy.
I just didn't want to see you lick that chicken.
Oh no chicken licking.
Yes, people own that chicken. They'd be upset if it was eaten before its prime. It will
Gotcha,
taste better
gotcha.
later.
Okay, yes. Good stuff.
However, I will stress this point carefully. Do not pick up any bugs off the ground either.
Oh, but
No one will want
you-
to be your friend.
uh, deflated.
And I think that you
Okay.
might make our dear Zed throw up if you ate a bug in front of him.
All
I've
right,
seen
no
people eat bugs
eating.
before. I'm just like it was more or less, you know, out of necessity, but out of enjoyment. No, that's not. Again, we'd find better things at the tavern, I'm sure.
All right. We have these long, crunchy, black and purple centipedes called bruftas. They were delightful. They're like an appetizer to main dishes back in the city of this, or the city of iron, called in common. But got it. No bugs. I won't eat bugs in front of people. Got it. Okay. Check.
Oh, the real question is, where do you guys want to go? What are you looking for? Where is your destination? You've arrived to this town. You know, it's a town.
We're
Do we
looking for
see
the pub.
anyone? Do we see
Yeah, I
anyone
wanna go
like
to the pub.
out of just, you know, where we're standing that we could potentially walk up to and ask about the town at least? Or is the hustle and bustle kind of further in the town?
Sounds like the hustle and bustle is indeed further in the town. However, you do
Yeah.
notice a man stumbling back and forth, barely able to hold his own body weight, mumbling words, maybe words, mumbling to himself. Oh, hey.
Free wallet scene.
So, like I said before,
What tune is that?
First sign to get to the tavern is find the drunk lad, and I believe I see one right there.
Let's retrace his steps.
Hey, you don't want to talk to him?
What? He might have something to say.
I feel like nothing bad could come from this situation.
I don't
Shaw's
particularly
already walked up
enjoy.
to the guy and is like, "Hey, what doing is that?"
As the two that when you get a really good beer and he leans forward like he's about to fall over, but reaches out and like lands his hand on your shoulder to kind of balance himself, and his head's just kind of hanging as if he's having a hard time having his spine function correctly. And as he gets closer, it's almost like a choking aura of, well, would you have had alcohol? A choking aura of
Yeah,
some
sure.
beverage.
Demon draft.
Almost.
All kinds of stuff going on in the city of Iron. Yeah. So I think he knows what drunkenness looks like.
This guy seems like he is beyond drunk to the point where he's probably blackout drunk right now. He just doesn't even know what's going on.
Yes, looks like this guy knows where the tavern is. Can you point us in the direction, friend?
Oh, you're a pretty lady. And he's kind of
Well,
takes his
thank
hand off
you.
your shoulder and straightens himself up, but as he does so, he kind of almost leans too far back and catches himself.
Oh.
And straightens himself up. That is pretty. And he kind of spits in his hands and runs his hands through his hair.
Top makes his eyes like flash in sparkly rainbow colors as he smiles and winks at the guy. Why,
Oh,
thank you,
doing
kind
great,
stranger.
Joel. You're doing great, Joel.
I think this guy likes me. Maybe he'll give us information.
I
So
think
tell
this
him.
guy thinks you are a woman.
Oh, that's all right. Wouldn't be the first time. Hey, buddy, what can you tell us about the town? That's fun and interesting.
I mean, other than me.
Oh, you're the picture of interesting for sure.
I mean, there's a bar over there. You wanna, get a drink sometime? I mean, I'm a straight shooter. I'd never drink in my life.
Sure.
Obvious.
Well, thanks. I look in the direction that guy's pointing.
He looked directly at a wall.
Okay. Well, why don't you go home and get ready and I'll meet you there in about 15 minutes, yeah? Cha sort of raises his eyebrows again and again.
Yeah, all right, yeah. He kind of
Right.
he takes his hands and like tries to straighten straighten his collar. I'll be there. Look at me, split.
Yeah, see you soon, lover boy. Wink, wink.
And he continues to stumble past you.
Well,
At this point,
strike one.
Zed's eyes are just wide open, and he's almost just kind of like leaning back, just very. He's kind of fish-eyeing, like left to right, just thinking to himself, like, "What did I just see? What I just saw?" And he kind of leans over to Cha, and he's like, Have you done this before?"
Oh, sure. Getting information. That guy didn't know very much. But, hit and miss. No problem.
Hey, well, we found the tavern, eh?
Well, he was pointing at that wall right there, so maybe we can head in that general direction. We
Do you?
continue to roam around town looking for the tavern. Maybe we grab a passerby and just ask, like,
Oh yeah, you'll definitely come across a a roving citizen, probably more of a night owl than anybody else. Ooh.
Pardon us. We're looking for the local tavern. Can you point us in the right direction, please?
So, as you're kind of walking through the streets looking around, you would notice that there is a very short person. Their backs kind of turned towards you. They're very slim. And since you do sort of have some torchlight, kind of look like brownish hair. And you try and get their attention. And as you do so, they turn around and you see old
Ah. Cool.
a very young, maybe elven, half elven. You kind of can't tell at this time of night. Hello.
Hi there. Well, what's your name?
Um,
I'm Cha.
I'm Sebastian.
Sebastian. Nice to meet you. We're new to town. We were just looking for the fun places to go. Can you direct us to like a tavern or an inn or someplace cool to hang out? Now that the sun is down, we just want to go have a drink and a meal or something.
I mean, my parents say not to to talk to strangers, but there's the mimic over there. And she
Okay.
points down the street. And at this point, you can there's enough lighting along the road from, like, not really lampposts, but lanterns and such that can keep the road illuminated even during the nighttime. More so here than the outskirts.
Well, thank you so much, Sebastian. And you know what? It is good advice not to talk to strangers generally, but we're okay. And he flicks her a gold coin.
And she takes it and eyes it. Are you adventurers?
Cha looks around at everybody.
I think we're growing into that role.
Yes, we could call us that. Sure.
As you say that, her eyes widen and there's this big smile on her face. Oh! Do you have any adventure stories? Any cool monsters you killed? And then she just seems, at this point, she seems to have dispatched any sense of having a guard up.
I was like, oh, do we? Let me tell you. Let me tell you about a gigantic crab and a mermaid. And Cha kind of relays the story of meeting Clearance and some of those things in the Underdark.
She is completely and utterly enthralled by everything you say, and she hangs on to every word as if it was her last breath.
And he tells it in really like dramatic kind of fashion as he would to like a child, to sort of make it even more flared drama than just telling a story.
Give me a performance, just to see how good it is. How much better you can make it.
Sure. Performance. Okay, 11.
I mean, she's already enthralled, right? This is sort of the icing on the cake kind of thing. Ooh,
And Cha raises his hand up and floating above his hand is the image, a small image of the crab and the mermaids sitting like on top of it. And then he kind of is telling the story while casting minor illusion to describe it to her.
She is, the best way to describe it, as enthused and enthralled as you were coming to the surface. So you can
Right.
almost relate as it almost pumps you up even more, right? That there's this level of innocence and enthusiasm about something that you did that, you know, probably in some sense might not even be that interesting compared to what you have already experienced or what you may experience in the future. But she is just, she's loving it. You have a Sebastian fan club.
So there you have it, my friend. Thanks for the help.
Can I come with you?
Uh, um,
I
you
want to
just
be
said
an
your
adventurer.
parents. Oh, but your parents, where are they? Are they waiting for you?
I mean, they're at home.
Oh, well, I think your parents might miss you a lot if you came with us. Plus, it's really dangerous. You have to be grown up and you have to train really hard. You have to have skills like this. And Shah's like casting little illusions about and changing the color of his eyes, making little bursts of wind and sound appear around her. You have to develop magical skills and fighting skills too to be an adventurer. Right now, I think your parents, they need you. So study hard. Maybe one day you can be one like us as well.
There you go. Something in the channel. That's what she is like right now.
Cool.
All right. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna tell Mom and Dad that I'm gonna be an adventurer and gonna go on adventures. It's gonna be so good. And she says as she's kind of turned away and started walking off.
That was adorable. Oh my goodness, you guys. I think I'm gonna like it here. To the mimic!
Words you rarely hear adventurers want to say. All right. Was there anything anybody else want to do? You guys had plenty of time to observe the drunkard and the kid. I mean, before the kid runs off, I mean, if anybody wants to interact with her.
Ozik thinks about getting a gold coin out of his purse to give, and then it's like thinks better of it and puts his purse back away.
Niavara is doing the mental equivalent of like looking like someone who wants to have a smoke at that exact moment that he mentions. Your parents need you. You could be an adventurer when you're grown up.
Aww. She just said, "Aww." Acknowledgement.
Your parents care for you, and you should take advantage of that every day that you possibly can.
I mean, and she, you know, she on her way home, she's kind of walking past you, and you say that, and she kind of stops and looks up at you with the biggest, most innocent eyeballs. Then what about your parents? I mean, you're adventurers.
At this point, Zed kind of looks down and he's just kind of acting like he's not part of the conversation, and he's kind of flipping a coin between his knuckles, just more or less just trying to act like he's distracted with that.
Feel like there's a robot chicken
My
skit in the
parents
making.
encouraged me to walk down this path. At perhaps too young of an age. Do not go looking for a World of Adventure girl. It will find you if the time is right.
She nods her head.
Good
So-
advice.
So make it find me quicker. Got it. Perfect. And then she sprints off.
Oh, look, Niavara, you inspired her.
$10,000 stare in her eyes. Great. Someone coming for my job security.
My
By the way,
retirement fund.
Good job dodging the parents' discussion with the little girl. We didn't want to make her all cry, right?
No, I don't particularly want to make a child cry. On purpose. Most of the time.
Except Tuesdays between 2 and 3 in December.
Yeah, that's what I'm on call.
All right, so you guys are kind of you look down the street with the, torch lit cobblestone, and you see several signs along the walkway, several buildings of varying extents of fashion design, but one does definitely stand out, and it definitely stands out in that the building itself is carved to almost resemble that of a giant chest, and at the very top of the building, it kind of looks like an open mouth. If you look at it at the right angle, right? They're not trying to scare people away. It seems to be their theme.
Would we all know what a mimic is at this point? Like, would that be common enough knowledge that we would get the joke?
You can give me a nature check.
All right.
Oh, they are arcane. Well, they are nature. Well, either. Are they? No, they're not magical. They're oozes, so I'd say nature, yeah.
5.
Yeah, Cha does not understand the context.
A clever design. Interesting. Spooky. Like you're being eaten by the place. But in a fun way.
All right, so you guys are heading to the Mimic? Yes?
Heading in.
All right. So you make your way up to the side of the building, the front doors, as it were. And the building is this, like, dark, almost like really dark purplish hue. Darkish purple hue, gold trim. The windows also kind of have the very similar gold trim, but with a little bit of a flair to the design to kind of make it look like not really an open mouth, but kind of the semblance thereof, without it being, something that looks like an actual mouth. They're not trying to make it look like a clown house or a circus. They're just going with a theme or some kind of weird design that Cha has no idea what the heck they're referencing. But you walk in, and it's pretty packed tonight. You can hear the sounds of several conversations overlapping each other. The sounds of jars clanging, chairs skirting across the floor, just kind of the sound of wood on wood as people are rocking back and forth or moving their chairs. People laughing in the back corners of the tavern. Structurally, though, you would notice that there's against the back wall. So you walk in and there's a bar on the left, and it kind of almost extends almost the length of the tavern. And then there's the tables. So it's almost like you're walking in from the side when you're picturing it. So on the left is the bar, to the right is the dining area, and way against the back wall you can see a door in the far left corner that's probably leads into a kitchen behind the bar, and you can see a staircase that leads up to a second floor. But it is, the aroma in here is just, acrid smoke, chandeliers lighting the most of the area. There's obviously always that shady corner. But other than that, it's pretty lively in here. And there's even a stage in here kind of further back that looks like at some point there might be performances. Nobody's up there right now or anything being set up, but maybe at some point there might be. And at the most interesting of all of this is that it is a hodgepodge of different species in here. Elves, dwarves, humans. You probably spot some winged humanoid creature. You'd see goblins. There's every walk of life in here. And they are all interacting and having a good time as if they were all family as it were already. But
Cool.
behind the
Chop
bar,
throws back his hood, feeling a little bit more open in this group. Throws back his hood.
yeah, and behind the bar, you would notice what looks like a really ornate, very well-kept suit of armor.
The barkeep, the landlord must be a former adventurer or something, or a soldier.
Right. Right.
Do we see the bartender or whatever we call the landlord?
Nope, you just see that suit of armor.
Okay.
It's kind of currently it has its its back is facing you, but it has these. Let's see. Kind of has a stony look to it. Almost looks more like a golem of some kind, right? Because the suit of armor it's a noticeable. There's arms, legs. It's kind of plated on each location, but this seems more like a golem of some kind as you get closer, because you can see like lines of this kind of light blue energy that kind of flows in between the cracks of the stone-like structure.
I'm gonna have to do an Arcana check, right? Arcana check.
Yep, go for it.
Okay. Boom.
Nice.
What do
That-
so I kind of just cast my thoughts out onto this strange, seemingly an animated suit of armor.
That's no moon. So with your Arcana, this. Oh boy, this is a couple of things. You get the feeling that maybe it's something called a Warforged, but no. This is a completely different construction. This is definitely some kind of a golem. And as you kind of reach this conclusion, it actually comes to life and turns towards the bar and begins serving beverages. And there's a voice that emerges from it. Yes, next. Who's next?
I kind of stride manfully up to the bar and I say, yes, barkeep. Hello. Oh, you are a feisty one,
Whoa.
aren't you? No, oh, do you have any sort of ale for our friends here? This one back here, I don't think has ever even had ale before. So I hope you have a good one.
Yes, yes, we have many beverages for many friends. What ale do you seek? Something to knock you on your feet or off them, I suppose?
At this time of night, after what we've been through today, the stronger the better, my good man.
Well, well, then of course. And at this point, you finally have a moment to, you have a little bit of time to settle in and get used to the scene and the hustle and bustle. You would notice among the individuals in here that there is a tabaxi woman, part cat, etc., but more humanoid than tabaxi. I mean, she has a tail, right? But she doesn't have the feline facial features. And she is roaming back and forth, serving beverages, taking orders.
What is your name? If I might ask. Cha asks the Warforged golem-like creature.
Carlos Live at your service.
Cuddle Slive?
Carlos Live with 2 R's, darling.
Cuddle Slive. Cool name.
Yes, I made it myself. Much like everything in here.
Aha! So this design of this place is your idea.
Well, somewhat of my idea, yes.
Cool.
But more importantly, about yourselves. What brings you here?
I think we're just looking for a drink. Wondering about the local gossip, maybe?
Oh, gossip. One of the things I love to hear about. If you have any, I just might provide you a little discount on your food and drink.
Well, let's see. There is a river to the north that nobody should swim in because it's full of piss.
Oh,
And
absolutely
there were
horrid.
goblins.
Yes, we
There were
know of
goblins
them.
and orcs out there, and
Mhm.
apparently we ran into a witch in the woods.
A witch
Seemed
of
like
the
a witch
woods,
anyway.
you say?
Yeah, she was freaky. Do you know anything about her?
No. But that's why I'm a
Oh.
barkeeper and acquisitioning rumors.
Ah. Well, I think it would be interesting for you to know, and Child leans in, that this witch has a very interesting creature that walks around with it that looks like a cat, but then it turns into something that is huge and large and scary with tentacles on its back.
Well, you almost had me there. I thought you were talking about Darla over there. She can be quite the monster if needed. And he points
Oh,
to the somewhat feline woman who's taking orders and serving beverages.
oh no, no, she is much more attractive than this creature. It was like scary and dangerous.
Go on. And he kind of puts 2 of his 4 arms, like elbows, on the countertop while the other 2 are still pouring drinks for other people adjacent.
Well, and Charts like jumps right into it, like into the intrigue with this person. It's like, well, we uh, we attacked this creature, but it seemed like it was just testing us, and so we didn't really hurt it, although it seemed like we did. But it was like almost like she was toying with us. And then she left us alone. We were able to travel here. Kind of a cat and
Interesting.
mouse kind of situation.
Well, Darla loves a cat and mouse. Well, either way, gossip is gossip and a deal's a deal. And he reaches under the counter and pulls forth a singular mug and pours something very strong in it.
What do you call this?
This one I call on the house.
Okie dokie.
And he slides it over to you.
Chalk kind of swirls it around and in a very snob-like way, if anybody's paying attention, like he sniffs it and sort of like looks at the color and the aroma and is kind of like, and then downs it.
All right, it is definitely strong, but not so strong that a single, a single go will incur any, needs to make any saves. So while Chaw's having this conversation, what of the rest of the party? What are you guys doing? What's old Niavara and Kozik and Zed and Veldrin doing? I mean, Veldrin's been pretty quiet so far.
Veldrin goes and just like takes a seat off to the side.
All right, you find an empty table. Kind of in the. Are you aiming for like a a darker corner of the tavern, or just kind of anywhere you can find?
Just anywhere.
All right. Yeah, you find a table, probably one that could accommodate your compatriots. And let's see, I'll say with the. It's just sort of a roll for me. I'd say you find like a somewhat darker corner. There is some illumination, but it's kind of on the edge of the chandelier and the lighting, and maybe some of the smoke from other patrons is obscures the light a little bit in this particular side. Ooh, water. And as you take your seat, sitting at the table next to you, you notice that there is as a creature of the Underdark, you would notice a gnome, a full-blooded orc, primarily because you've seen one on the road, and some other fur-covered bestial creature sitting next to him. Definitely, anthropomorphic or bipedal. But you've never seen anything like this before. But, Underdark. And they're just kind of eyeballing you as you take a seat. But they don't bother you. But shortly after, maybe like, I don't know, a minute or two after you take your seat, that individual that, had been coined as Darla comes to your table. And she seems to kind of just have a piece of parchment in her hand, like she's ready to write something down. There's a quill, maybe. There's a quill and some parchment. New to town, huh? What can I do for you, Shug?
He just like looks at the waitress and just goes, "I'm fine."
All right. Well, if you ever get thirsty, you let old Darla know, and I'll be right back with you. Yeah, as you can see, it's a little busy here, so I'll be back in a few. Maybe you'll be thirsty by then. All right. I'm Darla, by the way.
Veldrin.
A pleasure. As she says that, she immediately, pivots on one foot and goes to the table next to her and takes the order of those 3 individuals that were kind of eyeballing you. All right, so Kozik.
Kozik, I guess, approaches the construct like character, and he's gonna try to get a beer from him. Excuse me, barkeep. I also would like to have an ale. I know
Oh.
something of the brewer's art, and I'd love to try what you've got on tap here on draft.
Oh, a man of my stature. How absolutely wonderful. Well, the question is, are you looking for something that will knock a dwarf of your stature on your ass, or something a little more lighthearted to just lighten the mood?
Though I do like to get knocked upon my arse, I think I'd like something just a little more sophisticated tonight, a little bit lighter.
I'll have whatever he has too.
Make that double. Make that 2.
Oh, your friends. Ah, discount it is then.
Hey, thanks.
My deepest thanks, sir.
Well, thank your compatriot over there. Gossip does flow like wine.
Carl Slav, you're a top-notch person. Thanks.
Flash a peace sign at Cha. All right, thanks.
Yatta.
Flashes
And
one
he
back.
does this, and he basically pours the same beverage.
Well, you'll like this one, Kozik. You'll like it. It's good stuff.
All right, I pick up the flagon if it is, and I bring it to my nose. Take a deep sniff. I guess it smells pretty good.
Very earthy.
Mmm.
I think it has a hint of fennel in it.
Ah, I hate fennel. It's like black licorice, right? Anyway. I guess I'll
No, just a touch. Not overpower
I take a nice big drink of it.
It tastes just like how my mom made it. It's pretty good. It's not bad. It's just like how
Out
my
in
mom.
this wilderness, I consider this area to be something of the wilderness. To have something this nice is quite a comfort.
Well, you get nothing but comfort in the presence of Karos Lythe, innkeeper of the fabulous Mimic.
Got style, Carl. So,
I
what can
know,
you tell us
tell me
about the
about it.
town? Anything
Ooh.
fun to do? Any cool
Well.
places? Any good gossip?
Well, good places to go. Let's see. We have been expanding a bit, you know. The money's been good, the clientele has been wonderful, and old Mayor Green has definitely picked up the pace on things. He's even considering, I don't know what he called it, something about trying to found some kind of adventurers guild, but he said that's down the line. After all, we are still, on the verge of being a town, as it were. What things to have fun with here. I mean, what isn't to be had fun with? Some people can take a tree branch and a stick, and a stone and roll it down a dirt road, and they would find that entertaining. Some people would dabble in the arcane until something interesting happens. That's, it could happen anywhere.
That's for sure. First one sounds really good, actually.
Or you can simply just get drunk and have a good time.
Well, we're definitely doing that. Just wondering about the town. Mayor Green, huh? You like this Mayor Green? Are they cool?
I mean, I've known him for quite a while. He's a man of his word. He's a man to be respected. And he's most importantly a man that understands his way around alcohol and money.
Seems unruffled by the idea of money. Like doesn't cause any effect or change in him at all. The idea of money.
So was there anything Niavara wanted to do?
Niavara is sort of, she's not quite on the outskirts of things, but she's also not necessarily sitting with anyone. She's gotten out a little book, and she's just sort of jotting down notes as she glances about the bar curiously. She doesn't appear to be eavesdropping necessarily. But when and if she's approached by the waitress, she'll ask for a gin and tonic.
Rightio. Well, Eldrin did reserve a table.
And she'll go there and sit with him so that, she can tell him, you have to order something to have the table, honey. This business runs on money. And if we do not order something, we have to move out of the chair. Because someone else might want it. Still jotting things down in her book.
And you would also take note of the 3 individuals. And as per usual in just about any tavern, the shady individual that sits in the corner.
Naturally. And she's examining all of these people and writing things down in her notebook after she gets a glance at them. A bit more diverse than I was expecting, to be honest. Most taverns at this time of night are basically all human from my experiences. But that might be work experience. The specific places I've been. Oh well.
Alright, so Zed, is there anything you want to do? Now you're finally in probably a more familiar territory.
So, Zed's been kind of oddly quiet since the mention of parents from the
Kid.
the young girl that we came across. He once we walk into the Mimic, he just kind of finds his own seat at the bar, not necessarily near any of the party, and he looks up, I guess, at the kind of golem server, and kind of gives a nod and stares at a certain bottle and just kind of taps the bar. And so this whole time he's just been taking probably shot after shot of the strong rum, I would say, and just keeping to himself. He's overhearing all the conversation. His ears perk up with the mention of coin and things like that, but he starts to turn his focus towards the rest of the bar, to the room beyond the bar, the kind of shadows in the corner, just to see if he can try and see if there's someone that's potentially doing some sort of business, something maybe underhanded or low key, that he might be able to put his nose into. So is there
Alright.
some sort of
Give me a... So I'll let you do either an investigation or... So if you do an investigation, if you're trying to be kind of sneaky about it, I'd also say, you're trying to... it would be an investigation with a stealth check, because, you're trying to figure this stuff out while, while not being perceived as eavesdropping. Or you could do a insight check, but with also with the easier to perform stealth check. Because you just be kind of lingering around and just kind of keeping your ears open as opposed to, actively trying to get close to somebody and listen in kind of thing.
Okay. So my intent is to just kind of more or less look around. Not, I don't know if this changes anything, but see if I can almost tell that there's, I don't know. So, I don't know. Let's do. Would investigation be me walking around the room? Would that change my action?
So I guess I'll ask, how are you going about trying to do this? Because that would probably help narrow the field of
Well,
vision here.
I'm drinking at the bar, and I've been doing that, and I'm just making kind of my rounds, just looking around the room, not like turning around and being super obvious, but I'm really just looking to see if I see anything that I've witnessed before, because this is a kind of commonplace for my character.
Okay, so how about just a perception check?
Just straight up.
Yes.
All right.
Looking for something. Listening in. With the 12. I mean, there's a lot of people in here, so you might think that maybe you heard something, a word or two that piqued your interest, but it's a lot of people in here and a lot of conversations happening. A lot of, every so often, like a random person will just like yell out, just not really in pain or anything, but just like, yeah, something like that. And it's really distracting to hone in on any singular entity or discussion, just because it's like walking into a room and trying to listen in on a conversation among several of varying degree of, pitch.
Okay.
So nothing really catches your ear long enough for you to really notice it. Like, it's that situation where like you're sitting on maybe like a bus or something and you hear a word or two that's like, what'd you say? And then it's like everybody else was talking at the same time, so you can't like find that conversation again.
So, all right. Zed will order one more drink, and he'll take that drink and he'll stand up, and he'll
Plus, you've
walk
been
kind of
drinking.
towards.
I said, plus you have been drinking.
Yeah,
That could also
exactly.
be an influence.
But he'll walk toward just, I guess at this point, since he
Oop, I
he
need
can't
this.
tell what's going on for what table, he'll walk just toward a table that he sees is sort of full of people, but might have just one stool that isn't taken. And he'll sit down and try to just kind of become part of the conversation.
Roll me a D100. Okay. So you kind of make your way to one of the the wooden tables nearby, and you look for a singular seat to sit in amongst the table, an almost full table. And lo and behold, you manage to take a seat at a table that currently has 2 goblins and 2 kobolds playing dice, making you the biggest man at this table right now.
Nice.
All right.
And they just kind of look up at you, like kind of do a double take, and their eyes just kind of shift between each other. Can we help you?
Of course, I was invited to this game, gents. You remember me?
Give me a deception.
Nice. I like where this is going.
No.
And no, we didn't invite you.
Aren't you, no, we met, aren't you, and he's kind of snapping his fingers, and then in the midst of his sentence, he just kind of goes back to his drink.
They just kind of keep their eyes just keep shifting between each other and you and back to them, and they kind of scoot their chairs on the other side of the table.
He downs the drink, just kind of one, one foul swoop, if you will. Sets the glass on the table. He kind of looks visibly drunk, and he's just like, no, aren't you the ones that were trying to make some coin? I've got some coin.
So you want in? And the one of the goblins kind of gets this big grin on his face.
Well,
I mean, you weren't
what do you mean,
invited, but
I'm sitting down. I'm already here, gents.
well, if you are willing to put in money, we are willing to take it from you.
All right. Well, I'll put in my coin as long as you're willing to do yours.
Of course. Yes, of course. Our coin. And the goblin looks to the one sitting next to him and kind of does this, and it's they're not even good. You know what? Let's see how good they are hiding it. They're not good at hiding it, but they're gonna try it. Be sneaky about it. And let's do a roll here. Yeah, no, they're it's one of those it's almost like breaking the fourth wall as bad as they are at it. Like they look at each other and do this like over exaggerated wink, like to the point where their head rolls back a little bit, and then they do like they blink really hard when they wink at each other. Well, if you've got the coin. And the kobolds just kind of are just like, we are gonna get our drinks now. We'll game with you boys later. And the two kobolds just kind of get up and very awkwardly kind of scoot their chairs away and kind of disappear into the crowd because they are pretty short. All right. Now it's just us and you. What game is your poison, friend?
Well, what were you all playing before? It seemed like those gents took all their money with them. That's not. Would have fancied having that coin. Anyway.
Well, that's business. We were just doing some dice. Simple game. I mean, we could play some 3-Dragon Ante, but no, we don't have the cards with us right now.
I don't have cards with me either. Well,
Well, are you a man of luck or are you a man of caution? Because sometimes the dice will determine everything.
Well, I've not really been the cautious type myself. Tend to be the lucky type.
Are you now? So are we. How much gold are you willing to throw into this wager of whatever game it is we decide to play?
Let's see. Do I have any sort of like? Can I see the amount of money that's been on the table and things like that? Do I know what would be a healthy bet for them, or is this just kind of out of the blue?
It's very much out of the blue.
Okay. Well, tell you what, I've got 50 gold pieces that says you won't take any of my coin.
They look at each other like, is this guy serious? Is that it?
Let's go.
You're saying 50 gold pieces is nothing to you?
You can give me an insight check.
Okay.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a drink.
Yep. Great.
Damn, their poker face game is on par.
Yeah.
Not going the way I thought it was.
Yeah,
Dad
I
thinks
mean,
they're best friends now. He's like, oh,
yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be in our best interest to tell you how much gold we have on us. After all, we are upstanding citizens. We wouldn't want any harm to come to us because we're carrying absurd amounts of money around.
Oh, so what? We're not gonna play a game here.
Oh, we're willing to. I mean, you asked the question. You just answered. Well,
You
game of
kinda
dice it
spied
is.
my idea of 50 gold.
And they kind of reach under the table. So you throw gold out, or you just mention it?
Oh, I haven't. I've just said that that's what I'll bet.
All right. So they pull a sack, like a leather-bound sack, and put it on the table. It sounds heavy. We'll meet your numbers.
All right. So yeah, Zed kind of rummages around in 2 or 3 different kind of areas. He's got his left hand out, and with his right hand, he's just kind of like pulling smaller stacks of coins that he's counting every once in a while as he's pulling them out. And then he sets 50 gold pieces just in a nice neat stack on the table there.
All right. So without even having to do a perception, as you're distracted reaching into your sack, you see one of them reaching out to grab a singular gold piece from, the stack that you pull out. Because I'm guessing you're kind of putting multiple, because it sounds like you don't have all of it in just a single pile, right? So you're kind of pulling it,
Right.
put it on table. So you see one of them reaching to try and grab a singular gold piece, but he is very loud about it. His claws, his kind of goblin claws are scratched the table a little bit.
So
Maybe he
before I'm-
stumbles.
So I'm assuming that I'm not even done kind of pulling coin out, and as I'm still pulling coin out without really kind of changing my demeanor or anything, not even looking up, I just grab his wrist with my other hand, and then kind of put the rest of the coin on the table, and then before letting go, I just kind of look over at them.
I mean, do you say anything to him when you look at him?
It's just that piercing gaze.
I mean, you did say if we were able to take a single gold piece from you, You didn't specify when or how.
Aye, well, didn't think it'd be that way, but
Fine,
we'll see how this
fine.
goes.
We'll play by the rules that you never set anyway.
Aye.
Do you have dice with you?
Gents, I sat down to play with you all. Like I said, I was invited. I believe it was by one of the two that just left, obviously. So, you know, what sort of games are we playing?
Well, we were
I'm just here to
rolling
rein
some
your mind.
dice. Yeah, all right. Well, highest dice roll wins. That's how we've been doing it. Simple luck. You live and die by the dice. You go broke or you get rich.
Have the rest of us noticed that Zed is sat down and is about to engage in gambling with a couple of goblins?
Yes.
So I'm gonna point it out to Kozik. Be like, Kozik, I don't know if this is a good situation or bad. What do you think? He kind of points out.
I think let's go back him up. I think we should step to him.
All right.
Get his back.
Thank you, Carl. We'll be back for more drinks.
We stride over.
Maybe next time you'll be having to pay unless you have a really good gossip story for me.
Oh, no problem. We'll try to get some juicy gossip for you.
Wonderful.
So, Shaw's just gonna kind of slide up nice and slow, not brash or anything, but just almost like he's just emerging out of the crowd, behind Zed.
At least the gambling episode.
Hey, Zed. Oh, go
Hello,
ahead,
boys.
Kozik.
I stand over his one of his other shoulders and I fold my arms and kind of stand up as straight as my dwarven posture will allow. Kind of look a little bit hard.
Looks like you found yourself a little game with some new friends. Hi there, new friends. Shaw looks at them with almost just a slight amount of too much tooth from his fang-like tiefling teeth.
I mean, they smile right back at you with many, many more sharp teeth of goblinoid type.
Shaw kind of smiles and is like, "What are you playing?"
Oh, just
Aye,
a
well.
game of dice? Oh, were you looking at Zed, asking Zed?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no,
Yeah,
Zed.
he's
Go for
just
Zed.
kind of looking around the table, puts a hand on Zed's shoulder, and just kind of asks the table, "Well, what is it? Cards? Dice? Race? What are you doing?"
Aye, well, it sounds like we're going to be playing some dice. These gents won't necessarily tell me, you know, what the rules are, and they're bragging about their coin and things like that. So, you know, I'm apparently just sitting here with my coin on the table, waiting to take someone's money.
Do you have dice on you, friends?
Yeah, we do. We were asking if he did either. Yeah, I mean, I know some people are superstitious with their dice.
I have an idea. I'll ask the barkeep. If they have a dice we can all use. Sound good?
Sounds like a game of luck to me.
All right. The child will go
Yeah.
back to Carl. Be like, "Carl, I think there's a little bit of gambling going on over here. You wouldn't happen to have any good luck dice on you that we could use for a game of chance?"
Oh, of course I do. I always love a good game of chance because it makes coin flow even more.
Nice. Could I borrow your lucky dice?
So you see one of his hands just kind of reach up in front of you and snaps his fingers, and a glowing pair of dice just kind of appear in his palm.
Nice trick.
And they kind of the light fades and they actually form into actual dice. And he hands them to you. Good
Thanks,
luck on your
Carl.
endeavors. Try not to lose all of your money. I'd love to have you back.
Indeed. He kind of gives Carl a wink and a smile, heads back to the table.
Also know that if you leave the premises, the dice will just disappear. Range limitations
Oh.
and all of that.
I wouldn't dream of taking your dice.
Just to not disappoint you if they just suddenly disappear when you leave, just so you know.
Got it. No problem. Shaw heads back to the table. Look, the barkeep has sponsored this game of chance with their own lucky dice. I say we use this for whatever occurs. What do you
Yeah,
say,
works for
Zed?
me.
And he hands the dice to Zed.
I
Not that we
appreciate
don't
Tom.
trust your dice or anything, new friends, but these ones are from a neutral party. You can guess what why we would want to do that, yes?
Well, that's why we asked if you had your own. Nobody
we
trusts
want to
us.
use we want to use these for everybody's rolls, yes?
I'm feeling lucky. Are you feeling lucky? I'm feeling lucky.
Are you feeling lucky, Zed?
I'm always lucky, Chaw.
All right then. Got your dice.
So roll me a straight up d20 unless you attempt to do something to edge the dice in your favor. Otherwise, just a straight d20 roll.
So let's say, could I roll a sleight of hand and try to get a higher roll?
I mean, it's still like a big dice.
Like to manipulate the dice to the maximum roll possible.
Shaw pulls back and just puts his elbow up on Kozik's armored shoulder and just kind of watches, smiling.
Kozik remains steely.
I mean, you can throw the dice, but manipulating them on a throw is still random chance, unless they're weighted dice, which they are not.
But I couldn't use sleight of hand to try to.
I
So-
see
so-
what you're saying.
So you're trying
finagle in
to
some way.
figure out how to make it so
Like
when
I've
you
got
drop the dice, they land flat as opposed to roll or
Like
something.
I've got a special throw that, the reason that I sat down at the table is because I know, you know what I mean? I've done this before. I know if I throw them just right that they'll land in this way.
Yeah, that's probability for you. Let's see what the dice say. Sure, you can do a
So-
sleight of hand.
So I can roll sleight of hand?
Sure, let's see what happens.
Alright.
You can always try. Let's see what happens.
Oof.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
At the moment that the dice go down on the table, Shaw's going to he's going to just kind of subtly behind Kozik's back, he's going to make the floor rumble a little bit beneath with thaumaturgy beneath the table. To distract everybody a little bit.
All right, give me a deception as you are attempting to distract.
Uh-huh. Deception. Nice.
And I would even say Zed, because you didn't tell Zed the plan, right?
Not really. It was more just sort of yeah, he was just kind of wanted to throw the creatures off no matter what roll went down. So it was just a
All
little
right.
bit of a
So Zed, make me an insight check as the table rumbles beneath you.
All right.
and it seems like it could be like an earthquake level of a rumble.
All right, you have
Oh.
no idea who did it or why. So you cast the dice, and as the dice, roll and clang on the hardwood table, the table suddenly just kind of rumbles, just shakes uncontrollably, and you swear that the hold on. So now just give me just a D20 real quick,
All right.
because I gotta do theirs still. Okay. Okay, you
Wow.
are fairly
good.
certain that these goblins are trying to cheat somehow. They're making a table rumble. Like as soon as your dice hit the table, right? The table just started rumbling, and you swear when you were looking at the dice, they were gonna land on a 6 and a 6, and then the table rolled, and they rolled like again, and bounced a little bit, and there's a moment of tension in the air as the table is rumbling and the dice haven't settled yet.
So Zed slams his hands on the table and stands up at the same time, kind of kicking out the stool from under him. And in Goblin, which I don't know what it sounds like, but in Goblin, basically just proclaims to them that they've got to be cheating. And how could they do this?
So you get up and accuse them of cheating as the dice. It's almost like everything's moving in slow motion, right? Like the dice are still kind of spinning. The table's rumble is ended, but and they jump up from not really from their seats, but they jump up on their stools and kind of point back at you and yell back at you and Goblin. We're cheating. You're the one cheating. Why are you making a table rumble, huh? You trying to get a better roll? You trying to influence Lady Luck? That's not how it works. Then again, you didn't
He's
really
just
say what the
interrupting him.
rules
How
were.
how could I make the table rumble if I'm sitting here and I'm rolling a die?
We don't know. You big tall people always have these weird magical and he kind
it's
of
not
waves his
about
hands in the
tall
air.
people. No, stop it. You
Okay,
can't.
settle
This is the same-
down, you guys. Settle down.
Always kicking us around, accusing us of stealing. Yeah.
Maybe you should just re-roll.
As you say that, the dice finally settle, and your roll is better than theirs.
Nice.
Why would you cheat and then have me win? And Zed just kind of like looks at them with almost a. It's not that they can. Well, I'm hoping that they can't, but he's almost kind of biting his tongue. Trying not to laugh.
And Chaw's got a big smile. It's like, look, you did it, Zed. Incredible.
So it is 2 of 3 though, so still one more to go.
All right.
Yeah, well, if the table rumbles again, we're out of this one. It's clearly a violation of the non-existent rules. So roll me another just straight d20 because you are still playing Lady Luck.
All right.
Oh! Oh man.
So you roll at the exact same time, and it's almost like there's this moment of stillness in the air. As everybody's kind of waiting for the table to rumble, just you're kind of waiting for something weird to happen. A fucking seagull swoops out of nowhere and snatches the dice or something, but that moment never comes. And they managed to just barely win this time.
All right.
By
So it
one.
didn't rumble that time. What are you playing at?
I don't know. You tell me what you're playing at. You're the
Well,
one
I'm
making the
playing to
table
win your
rumble.
coin. No. All right. 2 out of 3. Let's do it.
Fine. Can't wait to take your money anyway. So, one more
Another
roll.
D20.
Yep.
Oof.
Oh boy.
Inspiration.
Yes, you
Oh,
most
yeah.
certainly can pass an
Inspiration.
inspiration. It is luck.
Oh.
Anyone want to share inspiration to try that?
Definitely my yeoman-like presence behind him lends some inspiration to him, I would think.
All right, you may roll again and see if luck be on your side for this final attempt.
Here we go.
Oh my
Ah.
god.
Damn.
Well, well, well. Cheaters never prosper. And they scoop the money into their own pockets. You just
That
played
just
by the
kinda-
rules. You probably wouldn't have lost, but Lady Luck hates cheaters.
That just slowly goes to sit down on the stool that he had kicked out, and it's not there, so he just kind of like plops down on the floor, and he's just kind of like stone faced, almost just perturbed, like how did that happen? And he's just kind of sitting there.
Cha reaches down and just holds out a hand. He's like, "That's all right. You can't beat them every time. Up to the bar. We made friends with the barkeep. We'll get you a drink."
Kozik steps forward to the three goblins are there. That's right.
It's just two goblins.
These two goblins, and they've taken the money, right?
Yep.
He steps up and Kozik feels some sort of presence, like kind of growing sort of in the core of his being there, and he feels like there's some sort of presence, some sort of a fey presence, if you will, is going to
Oh,
let's see.
here we go.
I put that out there. Use ability. Cool. So they have to make a savings throw against wisdom to be or be charmed by me for a turn. Up there.
Nice.
12.
Oh.
Oh.
So I step forward and say, "Excuse me, you gentlemen. I think something seems to be amiss. We've all had a long day, and maybe tempers are flaring. Would you allow us to have just one more go at getting our money back?" And I kind of feel like some sort of deflation within me, but I kind of try to fake my way through it.
Listen here, buddy. We won fair and square, despite your buddy. And as they're saying this, there's like a moment where it's like, it looks like their eyes were about to like glaze over, kind of they were maybe entranced or something, but they kind of shake it off as they respond. Look, we won fair and square. Lady Luck was not on his side, clearly because he cheated, trying to make the table flip over. Good thing we were here.
My noble inclinations kind of force me to see the reason in their admittedly these lower goblin-like sort of arguments, but I can't deny it. And I take one half step back and kind of avert my gaze from them.
And you can
Oh,
kind of
well.
hear them like talking amongst themselves, like in Goblinoid, just kind of talking back and forth.
I can't understand them, but I don't. I hold my ground where I am.
Dad, did you speak to them in Goblinoid?
No, I've dealt with Goblin before.
Was interesting. You'll get them next time. And then he kind of whispers in Zed's ear, like, I made the table shake. I was trying to distract them. So you could pull some kind of a sneaky trick or something. But it didn't really work. Sorry about that. Maybe we can plan something like this in the future.
Ooh. I like the sound of that.
Meanwhile,
Thanks.
the two sitting at the table, what are y'all's up to? I know one of you is kind of observing, and the lady returns. Have you gotten yourself thirsty yet, Shugs?
Do I have to be?
I mean, why else would you come to a tavern and sit at a table?
I'm here because my group is here.
Oh, and who might that be?
The ones that were playing dice just now.
Oh, the ones playing with, that's unfortunate.
What's unfortunate about it?
They clearly lost their money, honey.
Oh, definitely. Any particular reason why that's unfortunate, though? They got into the game, didn't they?
Well, unfortunate for the losers, of course.
Someone has to lose a game.
Well, that also means someone's not going to have money to pay for food.
Beauty of being in a group, no?
One can only hope.
And Niavara is sipping on her gin and tonic in the meantime. Like, we'll see about that. Who are the goblins, by the way? Just out of curiosity. Are they locals?
Well, definitely not. I've only seen them one night before. But they certainly have taken to the townsfolk and gambling.
I see.
They tout around Lady Luck and all this, that, and the other. I don't know what that really means, but to them it means something important, and they, as they say, live by the luck.
I see. Well, hopefully they continue to find it. And she'll smile. Politely. Or leaning back. If you could just get him something non-alcoholic and minor. He's not been out previously. My brother is just unused to this sort of crowd.
Understandable. I can't say I've seen a whole lot of your kind around here. Maybe once in a lifetime, but that was a long time ago.
She'll tilt her head curiously, but just nod.
She turns and looks like she's, she goes to the table next to you and collects some beverages. Basically on her way back to the back of the house.
Niavara snaps her book shut. and slides it back into her bag. And then sets her eyes on the goblins specifically, sort of watching to see when they leave.
It's gonna take them a while. Well, throughout the, depending on if anybody else want to, well, let's see if anybody else want to do anything, because they'll be there for a bit.
Shaw has taken back the lucky dice to Carl and thanked him profusely, and is now sort of leading Kozik and Zed back to the table with some fresh drinks.
To which table?
To where Beltran and Niavar are.
All right. Reconvening.
That was crazy, Zed.
You look quite disheartened.
Yeah.
I need another drink.
What's wrong, buddy? You seem a little crestfallen.
I'm not used to losing my coin like that. That was
What do you know?
that
Money
was
comes and
pathetic.
goes. It was a game of chance.
Chance is typically on my side.
Oh. What do you think threw you off your game?
Well, honestly, speaking of games of chance, I probably should have pulled this out and had him flip this a bit. And he pulls out his Raven coin.
Which before, it was rusty and, bad shape, like just horrible looking. Now it's pristine, clear, fresh. Almost like it was just minted.
Oh, what's the deal with that? Is that a horse?
Well, it's powerful to me, but that's more sentiment than anything. It's something that, honestly, in back alleys and taverns and things like that in the past, I've used this to win my fair share of games. It's almost as if it always knows what to land on.
Oh, why didn't you use it?
It's very special to me, and honestly, the last time, I don't mean for this to sound ugly or nothing, but the last time I was around goblins, I almost lost it. So it's just something that I try and keep close.
Ka wants to ask more, but also doesn't want to pry too much. Just kind of nods. Niavar and Veldrin, are you having fun? What do you think of this place? You been to any place like this before?
Niavar will let Veldrin speak, leaning back in her chair as she looks to him.
If your idea of fun is getting stared at, then I'm having a great time.
Chalk kind of looks around. Does it seem like people are really staring at Niavara and Veldrin?
Only one table.
And then who is at that table?
A gnome, a orc, and a something or other.
Is it still the table that's just right next to him?
Yep.
All right, so I guess at this point, based on Veldrin's response, Zed sort of realizes more of his surroundings. He's been just kind of beating himself up and not really paying attention. And
Also,
he
Zed,
notices.
but just by the way, you would know what this creature is. That's a gnoll.
Okay.
No.
He notices that there's just glances and glares and just an odd fixture of attention from this table. And in his current state, very perturbed, he kind of just stands up, staring at this table. Says, "I, is there a problem?"
Nope, says the orc. No, there's a problem with me. Probably not a problem with him over here. And he slaps the gnoll on the shoulder.
So Zed very sarcastically walks to the other side of their table and kind of kneels down to get about, same head height with the people that are sitting there. Said, "I well, okay, there must be something you all are looking at over there that's got your attention because you seem to be affixed by it. Is there a reason that you're looking in that direction?"
Well, obviously you're new to town here. So we're just getting a look at who's new in town. Is there anything wrong with that?
He kind of bolsters on the table a little bit and stands up. He's got his hands on it. No problem at all. I'm Zed Thatcher. It's a pleasure to meet you. Is there anything that I can do for you?
As you say your name, the gnome chimes in. Zed Thatcher. Zed Thatcher. And he taps fingers on the table. What an interesting name you have there.
What does it mean to you, friend? Charles kind of walked up as well.
Oh, absolutely nothing. I mean, you're free to
Zed
do
kind of-
insight checks if you want.
Zed
Yeah,
kind of peers
side
over.
check.
Sure. But Zed kind of peers over at the table where the rest of the party's sitting at, and he's just wanting to make sure that
Nice.
everyone feels a little bit more comfortable. Right. I'm going to roll insight as well since I'm standing right there. Let's see. Come on. At least it's double digits.
Hey, improvement. So Niavara, when he says Zed Thatcher, you kind of detect, actually with a 19, you detect a undertone of distaste, almost like well, at first I should backtrack a little bit. At first, his attention was on you, but then after he said Zed, that like his name, his attention moved to Zed, and when he said the name, just kind of repeating it, there was like this, almost like a venom to his voice. But
Is
you were the only ones.
Is Niavara like aware of like basically why they're getting stared at? Is it because, in her opinion, is it that Veldrin's a drow and she's a high elf?
So as far, I'd say with a 19, you kind of have sort of an idea. It's more your choice of attire seems, and you kind of look around and you realize that nobody really has the same level of fashion as you do.
Oh, we're both just pretty dressed up, all things considered.
Yeah.
Niavara will poke at her bag and be like, well, I'm not changing. Before she sends whatever one is still looking at her an incredibly toothy smile that she fills her mouth with additional teeth,
Oh, cool.
as though to say, "Back off. Do not mess with what you do not know."
Give me
And
an
Chaz.
intimidation.
Nice.
No one is looking at her. Except for potentially
Nice.
this table.
All right.
And she elongates them so that they're sharp as well.
The gnome, I'll just say, let's keep with your insight. So the gnome has definitely been, there's a somewhat change in his facial expression. Like he's keeping his eyes on Zed, but you can also notice that at the same time he's watching you, and like when you say that, probably more so that nobody can really hear it except for maybe him, because he's paying attention. But he quirks a brow, and you kind of get that's been the first actual like physical response that you've seen from him, other than like the venom to his undertone. Like you seem really good at reading him. And then he turns back to focus more on Zed, who is in his face right now.
And Chaz kind of leans in a little bit. And he's like, "What are your names then, friends?" Zed's told you his. I'm Cha. What are your names?
Well, you can call me Mr. Black.
That's the gnome.
Yeah, it's the gnome. And this over here, Mr. Fist, and this over here is Mr. Grapple.
Colorful names.
Well, business.
Who's who
Ah.
between Fist
So-
and Grapple?
The orc is Mr. Fist. The gnoll is Mr. Grapple.
So what kind of business, eh?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. What kind of business are you looking for?
Well, you might have noticed we might be looking for some coin, potentially. Kind of business is booming around here. For people with names like Mr. Black, Mr. Fist, and Mr. Grapple.
Well, it's always good to be ready for a tavern brawl. That's what I always say.
Chalk kind of tightens his grip on his quarterstaff. Are you looking for a tavern brawl?
Oh, no. And as you say that, he kind of lightens up a little bit and leans back in his chair and kicks his boots on the table. No, I would never want to have any damage come to such a lovely establishment here. But like I said, it never hurts to have people who are capable at ensuring that you're not on the losing side.
Speaking of lovely establishments, have you ever been to Portstown?
He kind of lifts his head up and strokes this beard that previously kind of didn't really notice he had until, kind of there's some light shining on it. I mean, I've probably been through there. I travel a lot. I
Sure.
mean, what's it to you,
Well,
Mr. Zed Thatcher?
well, you seem to have some sort of recognition with my name, and I've been on a bit of an adventure recently. But the last place that I was roaming, grabbing a drink around town, was Portstown. Just wondering if maybe that might be where you are familiar with my name.
Weren't you at Huntersville Harbor a few years ago with your old seafaring group of ragtag individuals? Let's
Aye, we
see,
were all-
what was it? And he looks over to the orc. Wasn't that ship called Waking Dawn or the Sleepy Boar's Head or the
Come on now. It's
Ashy
Ashen Wake.
Knees? Oh, yes,
You gotta
Ashen Wake.
remember, it's not a forgettable ship.
Well, when you've seen so many. I remember an old fart of a captain talking about his precious vessel. Got him real drunk one night. Lots of names came up. Yours was one of them. Man, that was years ago.
Aye, that's old Thatcher, I guess. That's the Catman.
Somehow you're still alive. Huh. I guess that's better than most of his crew.
Unfortunately, we did lose a few over the seasons, but we still got a few left. Got Uncle Raymond. Probably, honestly, they're all probably still waiting for me on the Ashen Wake. Got William the Green.
How are you familiar with with Zed's ship and people? What was your business with them, Mr. Black?
Like I said, I travel a lot. I talk to people, I observe people, I learn things, gather information. It's just kind of what I do. And I have the mind of a steel trap. Blessing and a curse.
Kozik scoffs at that. Just the arrogance of it. He sort of and kind of leans back a little bit. Says nothing.
So I guess the question is, are you here to gather some information? Because it's not free.
Well, speaking on information that you might have and your recollection of my ship, do you know what's happened to it? Because the last I saw, I'm not sure how long I've been away from it, but it's felt like quite a while.
I mean, given you humans and your typical lifespans, I'd probably say they're all dead. Especially you seafaring folk that wade headlong into any dangerous scenario you can find. For what? Treasure?
Right.
Money? Riches?
Well, obviously you don't know what you're fucking talking about because they can't be old parish. So, I'm gonna go to the bar, grab another drink. Let me know when we're leaving.
And Niavara, I'm just kind of just keeping your insight check because still the same scene technically. Mr. Black is intentionally trying to ruffle Zed's feathers, and he seems to be doing a very good job at it.
I see. Violence, then.
Shaw's eyebrows go up.
I'm saying that out of character, though, to be very fair.
Oh.
Niavara will note this and then write to her brother in her book and say, it's actually our clothes that have their attention. Look around. We're dressed too fancily. We have to ditch our parents' looks. Or make it our own. I personally plan on owning it. Mostly because they don't own me anymore. And she writes that with a little heart at the bottom.
And Cha trying to wrap up the scenario with them is just like, well, it was nice to meet you, gentlemen. If we have any information we're looking for, maybe we'll come your way. Have a
Well,
good night.
You as well. And if you're looking for work, I'm sure old Mayor will have something for you. New people in town are always always looking for work.
Expend,
Thanks. Maybe we'll check out Mayor Green one of these days. And Cha looks over to that dark corner. You said there was a figure there. Yeah?
Yep.
Kind of shady figure.
Shady,
watching?
cloaked, head down, just kind of staring at the table. They haven't moved an inch since you first noticed them.
Cha's feeling a kind of a recollection of his former compatriots, and he kind of asks for Darla when she comes by to send an ale toward that figure.
Send ale to what figure, Shug?
The one over there in that booth over there.
You point in the direction. She looks over there. There's nobody at that table, Shug. Maybe you should take a moment to let some of that ale get out of your system.
Of course. Sorry, you're right. Maybe that stuff that Carl gave me was pretty strong. Thanks. Never mind. And after she leaves, he's like, "Hey, do you guys all see that figure over there in the corner? Do you see them?"
Do
Yep.
we all see that person?
Yep.
I think that Darla wasn't able to actually see that there was somebody there,
Spooky.
but we can. I have an inclination to talk to them. Would anyone care to join me?
Eldrin will stand up.
Excellent. And we'll kind of walk slowly, nonchalantly through the crowd and around the tables and toward the booth.
Definitely dodging
then-
probably somebody throwing up their hands like, woo!
Yep, and he's like doing a little dance, to kind of join in and just blend. But moving toward the booth, and then just kind of slides into it slowly, without just making it very nonchalant. And
Sit
then,
down, the
uh,
figure
and-
doesn't move. Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm Cha.
I
spotted you from
know. Creature of the hells. I know all of
Then who are you?
Yeah.
nothing more than an omen.
Or what?
It kind of tilts his head to the side of that question. Though you still can't really see any facial features, just overshadowed. Great thing or disastrous things. Either way, interesting.
We are ready to learn if you are ready to teach.
So for the first time, you actually see a semblance of a body and it definitely has reptilian hands as one of them slides from underneath its cloak, and it kind of does it opens its palm up as if either offering or expecting something to be placed there, but instead of kind of waiting for any response, it kind of does a point, kind of, how do I put it? You know, when you open your palm, you kind of clench your fist, but your index finger's still there, almost like beckoning something. You can feel the obsidian key. It's around your neck, right?
Yep.
You can feel that become warmer and warmer. Luckily, you're resistant to heat, because if you were any lesser creature, it probably would be burning right now. I know the mark you carry.
Do you know? Todd takes it with his hand and just kind of holds it.
Yes. I see many interesting events to transpire in this world. And then the figure kind of looks over to Veldrin and Niavara. Ah, I remember your people well. Long ago, when the first ones were. A shame the gods' arrogance brought you so low. And then turns to Niavara. The face of many, the face of one. Take your time. Your journey has just begun. And then its head slowly shifts to Zed. Or actually, Zed at this table? Or is Zed getting alcohol?
Still the bar.
Yeah, that was at the bar. Niavara and Kozik were at the table. It was Cha and Veldrin who were here.
Okay. So it looks over to where Zed is. The traveler lost to time itself. Oh, he is going to have an interesting series of events. I almost feel sorry for him. And then turns towards Kozik. Oh, the brokered deal. Oh, I wish I could be around to watch everything that happens to you. And what decisions you make.
Cha looks over at Veldrin. It's like, I think I'm feeling the heebie-jeebies. I think this is it. Yeah. So, what can we call you, friend? You know so much about us.
Many things. Oracle, friend, foe, seer. Where's your... Oh, I see. Rituals. Superstitious those ones are.
What do you think, Veldrin?
To think on it more.
Well, thank you for your insight, I suppose.
Well, just know I have no intent to bring you harm, at least for now. So no need to worry about that here. Just know, And at this point, only Cha can hear the voice. You carry something that
Sorry.
is almost as old as the world itself.
Sorry,
Guard it
but
well, many will seek it, and some will stop at nothing to acquire it.
sorry, I lost the audio for a couple of seconds there. What was that? Could you say it again? Sorry.
Which part did you hear last?
I heard many will try to seek it, guard it well.
Yeah, it's basically what he's saying. Many will seek it. And
The key.
it nods. And at this point, because you've kind of got to see its hand, you realize that the color of the scales is the exact same coloration as your key. Obsidian black scales.
You know where this key is from?
Of course, I do.
Where is it supposed to go?
Fortunately, I cannot tell you that answer yet. It
Can you
will
tell me if
come.
Can you tell me if it will bring ruin or prosperity?
That determines, well, that depends on your choices. The weight of the world relies on the shoulders of they who have this mark.
Hmm. This key has come very far with me. I would see it reach its destination.
That is exactly why we cast it into the pits of hell. Far too busy with their own wars among themselves to care. I suppose are the one who ended up with such a situation. Just know this key will be quite useful at the return of one who has long since been gone.
Who would that be?
How would I word it in a way that you could comprehend? Father.
Hmm. Father of you or of everything?
Both.
Oh, okay. Would that hurt anybody? His father
Enemies.
will to return.
Any who deem his enemy, I suppose.
Well, I tried to order you a drink, but seems that nobody could see you but us. So
Because you bear
how
the
can
mark.
we? Do you know what? My friend here carries?
And who do you point to?
Veldrin.
It depends on if they wish to know that answer.
Kind of looks to Veldrin. Not trying to coax you or anything. Just wondering if you'll share it all.
Remind
Anything
you,
about you?
this conversation's been in your head, so
Oh, Beltran's not hearing any of this.
nope, not this part of it.
Okay, gotcha. I have this key, and my friend Veldern has something. Are they related?
No. Well, yes and no.
Riddles. I like riddles.
The
Would you like an ale?
It shakes its head, and kind of as it shakes its head, you notice the cloak that was covering its face kind of slips back and reveals a little bit. It also has a snout very akin to Ari, very lizard-like, but also obsidian black scales.
Do you have any words about our friend Ari? Know about them?
They worship the moon, as I know.
Boy, you are in the know, my friend.
I've lived a very long time.
Hmm. Child turns to Veldrin. Veldrin, do you have any questions for our mysterious friend here?
Perhaps. And he pulls out his book and just lays it on the table.
It stares at the book and looks back to you.
Do you have anything to say about it?
Oh, several things to say. Those names in your book. Only two of many, many. Both location and God alike.
What are
Belgian
those names?
just names have been revealing themselves
You
with
don't, do you
time.
know the names?
Does he ask that to Veldrin or
Yeah.
they're in the book? Um, if Veldrin showed the book to Chaw, would he be able to read it?
I guess the question is, do you?
He took hold of it and he rolled really high and was able to like see the locket and see the face and the locket and all that.
I mean, do you hand it to Cha to try and look into it?
Sure.
Not so much hand it to him, but he opens it to a page that has some of the names on it and just kind of tilts it towards him.
There is nothing written there.
Todd looks at the page and then looks at Veldrin with a confused look like, there's something there? Supposed to see something?
Neither is.
What do you see there?
This one, there is the names in Zeren.
What does it mean?
That I do not know.
And Cha looks to the figure. What do these names mean? What is this book?
Memory? Question? Both. And yet none at the same time. Yeah, okay, I got that name right. Good, good.
A kind of deep sense of horror with the silence.
Meanwhile, Zed over at the bar.
He's just drinking. Pretty sure at this point he might have finished the bottle that he acknowledged to Carl earlier, and might be working on a second.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
You have been putting a lot of alcohol in your system.
He's also asked to he's kind of pulled a flask out, and he's got that filled up for the road as well. So saving throw, Constitution. There we go. Ah, not good.
Oh no.
So
Oh,
you've been, getting your drink on, right? You've been downing alcohol, probably even more so after you lost your gold. Luckily, it's on the house because he gave, the barkeep some good gossip, which is a very dangerous thing to do, right? Especially to somebody who's feeling kind of down. And you are definitely getting real tipsy. Like, you haven't quite hit blackout drunk yet, but if you keep this up, you're probably going to end up like that guy you met on the street. Not that you care about that at all, because you're just having a good time, or having a chance to forget pain and suffering of your past or something.
Yeah, I think he's working off a couple things.
do any of the rest of us notice that Zed's kind of entering that state?
Not those of you talking to this figure, because your attention is quite,
Yes.
taken.
Absorbed.
So basically, anybody not interacting with this shadowy figure at the table, might have a chance to notice Zed's condition. Unless Zed's a woo guy.
Oh no, he's being pretty quiet, kind of keeping to himself. But he is starting to fade a little bit, I think. So between each shot, he's just kind of starting to lay his head down. He's got his hat off, and it's just sitting on the bar next to him, and he's just kind of laying his head down on his arms. And then every once in a while, he'll just kind of tap the bar a couple times again, and Carl will reluctantly pour him another one.
Or will he? No, he will.
Well, that's what Zed's assuming.
Oh yeah, I mean, if not, the barkeep, somebody else will, who's more willing to share the beverage, share the wealth. So anybody who's not interacting with this table can, you know, probably notice Zed just sort of his head slowly, shot after shot, lowering to the countertop. Or he's dead. You probably can't tell.
Niavar is keeping an eye on him and also on the goblins. She seems to be waiting for something, but it's not quite sure what.
A chair to be thrown. Got it. Anywho. All right. Oh, is there anything else you guys want to say to this individual at the table? I give him some time to, you know.
Will we meet you again?
Never.
Mr.
Or always. Who knows? Well, I do. But if I were to tell you that, then, well, where would be the challenge in learning and growing?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Eldrin, any questions for our friend here? Final questions?
We see you again.
That all depends on if you survive.
Can you give us any last minute guidance on our adventures ahead? Seems like you know all about them already.
Don't die.
Okay. Yep. Practical.
Probably want to begin getting work from Mr. Green Steelbottom of Grenstall.
I heard his name. The mayor, yes?
That's what these people call him.
Did you just call his last name? Green?
Steelbottom.
Steelbottom. Well, thanks. I was thinking about looking him up. Do that.
Sure, he'll show himself soon enough. He is a man of the ale.
Gotcha. Well, Mr. Riddles, have a pleasant evening. Perhaps our paths will cross again.
Who knows? And where it's, you know, where the bits of the face that you can see, there's a toothy grin. A very knowing toothy grin as he says, who knows?
And Cha smiles and sort of directs Veldrin to scooch out of the booth. And
Yeah, and also, give me an insight, just an insight. Actually, no, wisdom, because it's kind of a feeling. We'll do a wisdom.
Like a saving throw?
Sure. I mean, yeah, sure. Better results are, don't matter.
Oh, hell yeah.
Boom, natural 20.
It is actually very apt to get this, because it didn't really dawn on you, right? That you know of the individuals that helped you escape, right? And how powerful those people were.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people like crap, I don't have the name pulled up. The big name that was the individual that helped you escape, right? Like that creature type is not exactly a weakling, right?
Right.
So in this, you know, kind of getting a raw feeling of kind of measuring this entity, you definitely get a feeling that whoever this is, so you know, the people that got you out pales in comparison to
Oh.
this dark figure. Like
Okay.
not even a contest.
Wow. Okay.
And if you felt you had the heebie-jeebies before, like, oof. And then you realize you're still only level 3.
All right. And so as Cha, with his like butthole clenched, is walking back toward the group with Belderin, he's like, "Ah, I feel it. I feel like there are eyeballs all over my back right now. That yes." Whew. And Cha's gonna sit down with everyone and kind of and share the information that the creature gave to them about each one of them. And he's gonna look up and spot Zed and kind of and just sort of see if we can get him call him back to the table. Unless he doesn't want to, unless it's not coming back to the table.
I mean, how do you get
But
his attention?
otherwise, he's just Cha's gonna just get up and go over there, like Zed, Zed. Listen, I just had a really freaky interaction with somebody. Want to come over here and talk about it with us? If you're all doing okay. Whoa, yes, yep.
Zed
Be
Zed
careful
just
getting off that
raises his
bench.
head up and slowly looks over at Cha. Yes, I do.
Great.
But
Thank
his
you,
eyes
Carl.
are like maybe 25% open.
Oh, uh-oh. Okay, here we go. Cha kind of gives him a bit of a lift or an arm around the waist and sort of like, here we go. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. And gets him back toward the oh yeah, and before leaving, he asked Carl, Carl, is there like a good place to stay around here? Place with rooms?
Well, if you're looking for a room, that I will have to charge you for.
Sure, of course. No
But
problem.
there's always space within the bowels of the mimic.
Zed leans over his shoulder, just kind of back at Carl, just at this point, just a bit obnoxiously, and he's just like, I get our coin from those fucking goblins.
You hear from the hustle and bustle of the crowd, fuck you, we went fair and square, dick.
And Cha just laughs extra loud, trying to stop a bar fight from starting. Good one. Yep. We'll take one room, for sure. And he kind of pulls Zed back to the group, sort of props him up, and starts telling them what he just learned from the figure.
Well, that's spooky.
Right? At the end of it, I had this really strong feeling like we don't want to tangle with this creature, that it's not what it seems. I mean, it seemed like it was really powerful. Like, not, yeah, it was. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but I mean, like, really powerful. Like, the heebie jeebies, as you said earlier. Anyway, it seems like, yeah, that's it. Seem to know a lot about every one of us.
Nevar will consider this for a second. The religion check was to line up with her knowledge of the traveler. Does she think this was him?
I mean, with a religion check like that, I'd probably say sure.
Could be. She'll shrug.
You mean that it was like a god?
Maybe. I don't know. I'll be honest. I may be a cleric, but I'm far from religiously inclined.
Got it. What's going on with this? We seem to be diving into some pretty heavy stuff.
Well, I
And
mean, our companion has only drank himself into a stupor.
right. Yeah, Zed kind of snaps in front of Zed's face to keep his eyes open. Any thoughts, Zed? That about tracks.
Well,
Yep. So anyway, I got us a room. We can stay here tonight. Carl said there's a room upstairs. I'm not sure how much it will cost, but we'll have to pay for it for something.
certainly. I'm
All
sure
the
it'll
drinks
be.
are on the house though, because I gave them some juicy information about when I went when we battled with that weird witch creature. They love gossip. Let's remember that.
Niavara makes the mental note to tip. Well. And just nods.
Just picking up. I hate that.
Whew,
Hold on, my gain's too high.
crazy. And Chalk kind of brings out the key that dangles around his neck. This black, kind of jagged obsidian key that hangs around a platinum
Hmm. Oh wait,
chain.
I
It's
lowered it.
like,
Not. Oh, I'm an idiot.
I don't know what this thing is. They seemed very interested in it, and it started to heat up. And I was talking to that figure, but they said something about the release father, like a. And I asked if it was the father of them or the father of everything, and it said yes. So it said both.
Testing.
So maybe more God stuff. I don't know, but he puts the key away, back into his shirt.
Testing.
Anyway, and there's your book, Veldrin. What's going on with that? You know
Don't
the
quite
name?
know.
What are the names that are in there? What are they? Who are they?
I think they may have to do with the fall of the drow.
Kozik in the insides?
Kozik's been drinking some ale also a little bit. Wow, I don't know. There's been a lot going on. I'd be happy just to get a room though, and have a lie down in a real bed for once.
We've got one.
Oh, thank the dwarven gods.
And like while you're having this discussion, you realize that shady figure's not there anymore. Never saw them
Chalk
get
kept,
up and or leave.
Chalk kept looking compulsively back over toward them, and I think he would have noticed like the moment that looked and it was just gone.
Yep, it
It would have
was
been like, oh,
turn of a head, kind of enough time for it to be a blink of an eye there and then not.
jeez. I don't know who that was, but I don't know what game they're playing either. They said that they were neither friend nor foe, but both. I'm just calling them Mr. Riddles. They didn't give a name.
Did not.
Whew. Care to retire upstairs to a room, everybody?
By all
What a
means.
day! That was a great day.
Testing.
My goodness, first day on the
Testing. Okay.
material plane. Woo!
So you guys are definitely free to get more than one room if you want. You just paid for one room, which has one. Did you get one room with one bed, so everybody else sleeps on the floor?
Shaw doesn't like. He just sleeps on a pad. Like he doesn't even think about it. Like comforts or anything like that. He absolutely no use for creature comforts. So he just ordered a room, thinking that everyone would sleep in the same room. Oh, and he doesn't have any reason to think otherwise.
So
If
Does
anybody
it
asks
have
him, he
one
just
bed,
says,
though?
I got a room. I didn't ask about the bed. I just asked for a room.
Niavara laughs and says, "Look, me and Veldrin will get a room to ourselves. We're siblings. We'll sleep in the same bed."
What?
I'm not sure about Kozik. However, I can't imagine that Zed will need to be propped up on his side to prevent him throwing up and dying in his sleep.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll make sure there's a bucket.
No, my dear. It's his and she snaps her fingers a
Oh.
couple times.
that triggered it.
You have to make sure that his throat is clear. Humans require breathing to survive. So if he
Oh.
gets blocked up, he won't be able to breathe and he'll die. So and she
Gotcha.
sort of like demonstrates the pose that he needs to be in on the table
Audio.
She's just laying on the table.
Oh,
and recovery,
Okay.
like just like top of her body so that she can demonstrate recovery position. So like if you just like set him up like this in the bed, he'll be fine in the morning, hopefully.
I still have to breathe, and my people can't get drunk and stuff. Yeah, totally got it. Got this.
He'll be fine. He drinks often enough that I'm sure it won't do any permanent damage. He might be a little bit grouchy in the morning though, so keep it down. And she
Thank you
winks.
for the demonstration, though. I liked that. More of those practical demonstrations. Very useful. Zed,
And
you
she's-
ready? Ready for Betty?
Zed Zed just kind of stands up. It doesn't really say anything.
Okay, buddy. Here we go.
Zeddy ready for Betty?
And don't worry, buddy. I know how to prop you up so that you don't die. Niavara showed me how to. That way, you won't wake up and say, Zed's dead.
Zed's dead in my bed.
Zed's dead in somebody's bed. All right, Kozik, you ready for sleep?
Yep, we'll catch
You
up
want to
with,
share a room?
let's get the boys all together in there.
All
And,
right.
I guess we'll wait up for Drawari tomorrow.
Sure.
He'll find his way. He's a creature of the river.
Guided by Mini Moon.
Yes.
All right, so 2 rooms then.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Niavara just says that when she gets a moment, she'll get the room to go up on ahead without her and Veldrin.
All right, so for a room here, it would be 1 gold per day of a modest lifestyle.
Perfect. She's still waiting on the
gold.
goblins to leave.
Chad throws down a gold.
Oh, thank you for your patronage. The rooms will be ready in no time. And by the time you guys are starting to like head up to your rooms, as the bar's starting to clear out, tables are starting to empty. The goblins eventually looks like they come out on top. Not really, crazy on top, but they're leaving with more than they came in with.
Niavara stands to follow them after a couple seconds. like just
Oh,
stretching
no.
herself out, walking out of the bar, like telling Veldrin, "I just need a breath of fresh air, you know? I'll be back
You can
inside."
tell she's up to something just because of familiarity with her. Are you
All
sure
right.
you want to go alone?
Think I can handle it. If you want to keep an eye out, then I wouldn't mind it either.
He gets up to follow her.
Are you letting any of the rest of us know what you're doing?
I think that she's been a little bit suspicious, and at this point, the fact that Veldrin spoke up to say, "Do you want to go alone for real?" might be suspicious. Because Veldrin hasn't talked a whole bunch.
Okay, so you're saying the rest of us heard it?
You guys, yeah, I have a feeling you've been traveling with us for a couple days. You would realize that Veldrin saying, "Do you want backup?" is probably cause for a little concern. But
My
you don't have
headset?
to. Up to you guys.
Cha definitely hears it and looks over his shoulder while he's kind of carrying Zed along, and he's like, and he smiles at you both. He's like, "Just give me a minute, okay?"
Be right back.
And so he's gonna help Zed to bed. And he's gonna look at Kozik. Kozik, how are you doing, buddy? You up for a little adventure, or are you ready for bed?
Yeah, I guess if
Zed,
you guys are going, then I'm with you. I'm going with you.
Okay.
Zed's like, I am with you as well. Well, let's go.
Oh no, we're just talking about going to the bathroom, buddy.
I don't need to go to the bathroom. I want an adventure. I heard you, unless that's what you meant.
You want to go to the bathroom with us?
No.
Well, that was our adventure.
Is that
Does it seem
code
like
for something?
Does it seem like Zed is capable of a covert operation in his current state?
I don't know.
Niavara is out the door in the meantime.
Oh,
Like
you didn't wait.
like a cat, no.
Okay.
And the second that she is out the door in the shadows, she is changing into the form of the drunken man that she was watching earlier, like in the streets.
Cool.
And then casting disguise self on herself to change her outfit to match. Because she can change her body, but she cannot change her clothes.
Right.
But she can magically.
Bitchin'.
And then she's going after the fucking goblins.
Okay.
She's going to attempt to steal from them.
So yeah, we're not gonna join her. We'll just stay in there. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Veldrin's just kind of hanging outside of the tavern.
Being
Yeah.
chill, knowing something might go down.
Yeah.
She's going to attempt a stealthy check first. Would that be a stealth check or a sleight of hand check?
So you stealth, because you're trying to have them not notice you in the first place.
Oh, fuck.
Oh boy, here we go.
And then, she's pretending to be the drunk guy.
All right.
Would that be a deception check?
Pretending to be a drunkard. All right. All right.
Nice.
Go on.
No.
Let Zed go. He doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to pretend to be drunk.
All right. So first, explain what you're doing for your stealth, and then you describe the deception. Actually, what are you doing for your deception? Like how you acting and whatnot, and then how are you using your sleight of hand?
So number one, she was attempting to just sort of casually come up behind them, or more accurately, coming around a tree as though she was coming from the other way. She trips on a branch as she comes out of stealth because of her dress. However, she's trying to pass that off as just a actual stagger. Saying, I just got turned around. I am just a little bit turned around. And she's realizing that perhaps her voice isn't quite right. She didn't actually get to listen to this man. And she's been trying to catalog a bunch of people's voices. And so instead of the drunkard, it's the barkeeper's voice that comes out.
Ooh, I've gotten so turned around, excuse me.
Terrific.
As she's passing them, she attempts to grab onto their shit, but it's the fact of the matter is that the fake robe looks like it should touch them, but it goes through them instead. Like he has a coat on that like should brush them, but instead it just passes through their hands.
Ah,
All right, let's see what
Beautiful.
happens.
poetry.
So they definitely see you stumble out of nowhere. They're like, dang, drunkards. Oh, he's stumbling in. And then the second roll. 17.
Oh.
And then, so after you basically fall flat on your face and, they clearly notice you. And then, you get up, dust yourself off, and then you're like, oh, excuse me. I was unaware that I was completely and utterly inebriated. Pardon my vocabulary. Then the sleight of hand. Yeah. Trying to take our stuff. See, we knew we couldn't trust him. Let's see. But then the question is...
I would love if we all saw this. And in Zed's drunken state, he's just kind of arms crossed, just like, "Oh, what is she doing?" Just shaking his head.
She doesn't
I
look like
mean-
herself. She looks like a man, like a
I mean-
random dude.
With how
Yeah,
much
we'll
noise that's
never
being
know.
made out there, like,
Well-
yeah, you guys could probably see all
I'm
of this
trying,
going
to, I'm
on.
trying to convince Zed not to come, and then we're hearing all this banging around out the window. We all are looking out there now.
I feel so. We again. Oh, you did change your clothes. Okay, sorry. I was gonna be like, it's just an old drunk dude that's dressed as Veldrin, but
Niabara.
They changed
Sorry.
their clothes.
Yeah, her clothes are. She magically changed her clothes, and her
Right.
appearance is that of a guy.
So we're
But
just
they may
we're
or may
watching. our-
not know that those clothes are fake. Or
Nope,
real.
you'd have to touch him to know.
Which they touched them. See, I knew it. I told you. It was that guy. He was cheating, and now he's trying to steal our money. And then they both
Yep.
pull out very crude looking like billy clubs, but they're
Oh.
really just sticks. Yeah,
Hey,
go
look,
for the
it's that old-
kneecaps and roll for initiative.
Oh god.
And
this is when
that's where we'll
Veltrin
end
is,
session.
And that's when Veldrin
Oh.
is involved.
Oh wait, it's the end of the session.
Yeah, that is it. Classic.
Oh damn. Okay.
Hey, look, that old drunk we saw earlier is getting into a fight with the goblins. Let's watch.
Get his ass.
Oh, beautiful.
So instead of the whole shaking his head, at Niavara, Zed kind of turns to Charlie. He's like, "I wasn't he supposed to be going home, getting ready for you?"
I guess I got stood up. Oh,
Or you're
well,
watching him get beat in the parking lot outside.
he deserves it. He should have been getting ready for me.
I'm just gonna try my luck with a brief intimidation check. With her cover blown, she's going to have her face monstrously transform into something else to scare him.
But what that is, we'll find out next time.
Nice.
right.
Nice. Great place to stop. Good session, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
Yeah,
Valentine's Day.
That was fun. See you next
So,
time.
Hopefully y'all's had fun.
Yeah.
You guys,
totally.
you guys finally made it to town. You got to meet some shady individuals and some non-shady individuals. You got your fortunes told. Sorta, kinda.
I
And-
became a shady individual.
Nice.
And, well, I don't know if what you did was considered very shady.
I'm about to murk these guys and steal all their money.
Goodness.
Well, let's hope your rolls are above 8, 8, and 6.
Above Zeds.
That was classic.
It's a clever way of saying like how badly I fucked up though.
Oh boy.
Uh,
Let's see how this works out.
roll with the dice, as they say. Roll with the dice.
So who is
Tuna.
the spicy tuna roll? Who is that?
It's a buddy of ours.
Is that Audrey?
Buddy from our stream.
Hello, that's me.
Oh, hi.
I was
That-
just listening in to see how everything's progressing.
Nice. Cool.
The unbiased outside judge watching.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, everybody. See you next week.
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
see you guys next
Good
week.
See you
Can't
guys.
wait to see if you
Bye.
guys get Billy clubbed by a goblin.
Whee! I'm gonna kick their ass.
Yeah, most likely. All right, y'alls. I'm gonna end the stream there. Next time we will have some adventuring going, which will be fun, hopefully. But for the purpose of making this download not crazy long, I'm gonna go ahead and didn't put the audio input on that screen. That's okay. So yeah, I will catch you guys. What is today? Today is Tuesday. Multiplayer Wednesday will be Multiplayer Wednesday. So, well, we'll see if people want to do Multiplayer Wednesday. Either way, I'll be streaming. So, So with that, I hope you guys have a good one. Hope you guys had fun. And for those of you who will get around to watching the recording, hopefully my audio is not annoying, because I realize voices have been triggering my threshold, which means more audio stuff I have to adjust. Anyway. Things I'll learn as I go. So with that, I hope you guys have a good one, and I will catch you next time. Alrighty. Peace, y'all. Woo!